Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Good night today.
Happy Thursday.
First,
Friday.
hey, I'm not sure, other than daylight savings shenanigans, I don't think we've done a weekly update at a time other than Friday morning. So
Yeah.
here we are, Thursday. It's late evening in Europe. It's the afternoon here in the States from coast to coast. And it's good to be here with everybody. We're the Gimbalabs team. Um, Now, I didn't put an update here. I'm just going to drop this again in Discord so people got it.
Was about to do it.
All right. Oh, thanks. New time starting now. All right. And so we're live on YouTube and Twitter, and this update is being recorded so people can catch up later. And I just want to share that Adriano's here too. It's so good to
Hey,
have him.
Hey,
Yo.
made it.
This is really fun. Thanks all for being here. Thanks for anybody who's tuning in. And if you're watching on Twitter, you can find us on YouTube as well, where we take live questions in the chat. We are the Gimbalabs team, and we're really happy to be here with you. So this is weekly update number 41. And so just as we get started, I want to shout out that Fund 7 of Project Catalyst started today. It was launched at a town hall yesterday, and the insight sharing phase just opened a couple hours ago. And so it's a really cool chance to step back and think about what a year it's been here at Gimbalabs. We were founded during Fund 2 of Project Catalyst almost exactly a year ago.
oh man, that passed so fast. I cannot believe that it's 1 year that I have the pleasure to work with Julie and you, and now with this great team growing each day. And I hope we can grow for years and for dozens, organically in dozens.
Same. Same. Thanks for going on this journey. And thanks everybody who's jumped in along the way. I was looking through all of our weekly updates because we're in the process of redesigning gimbalabs.com right now. And my goal was just to write a few words about each of the weekly updates. So I had a chance to kind of scroll through the different people who have joined us on this over the course of the last year, and the different topics we've covered, the different experiments we've tried. It's a pretty long list, and some of those experiments caught on, and others kind of disappeared. It's easy to forget about them, so it was really cool going back through those archives. So every week, we do a couple of shout outs to people across our community and collaborators that we're meeting in the Cardano ecosystem. Then we share some updates about what we've been doing, and we give you, the audience, a couple of calls to action. So even if something's not on this list, you can chime in if you've got other things to add. I wanted to start just by giving a huge shout out to Tafara, who presented the idea of Idirs at Playground on Tuesday. Ancient Tao wisdom. What we are finding out with blockchain is that we have the opportunity to relearn lessons that we've lost during these moments in history where we've, taken certain structures to their limit and maybe found new ways to be destructive, but we have a lot of ways to start working together again and to heal some of the wounds of the last, couple centuries. And Tefera had some great ideas for that. Really powerful to be there. Anybody else have anything they were thinking about after that presentation?
Yeah.
I couldn't attend, but just by listening to your introduction to what is it about, I must say I fully agree that we need to recover some ancient wisdom and some maybe roll back a bit and you know think about the essential fundamental things.
It spoke to me of the power of being together with all these guys, together with all you, and being there for each other when times are good and when times are tough.
That was what was so interesting to me about Tefera's description of the Idirs, was that their primary function was to take care of people in trouble. You know, whether that was going through grief from the death of somebody or just general life problems, and that was important enough. That is important enough for them to maintain this over, you know, God knows how many years, hundreds of years that they've been doing this, and it remains. You know, and I'm very moved by that. You know, because just the headline glancing awareness that I've had of Ethiopia up until this year, you know that they've needed that. You know, and I didn't know that they had that. You know, and I'm really glad to know it. You know, and I think in a few years the United States and Europe are going to look a lot more like Africa than Africa is going to look like us.
Hopefully, they will look very differently.
Yeah.
So,
So,
A lot of experimentation coming our way. Speaking of in the moment experiments, Roberto had a shout out for the Logosphere team. What's the latest?
yay! So we are in conversation with Logosphere team. We directly found a synergy between Dandelion and what Logosphere is putting together with Fleury database, which is a graph semantic web semantic graph knowledge database. For those that might be wondering what the hell is that, it's a way a way to dig into the data lakes that the internet creates every day, right? It's difficult to scale, and it's difficult to search on every single event that happens, and Fleury and Logosphere solution, it's going to help us to make sense of what happens on Cardano blockchain with extended metadata that cannot be hosted on Cardano, or it's expensive to be hosted on Cardano and to search from there. So big shout out for the whole team, because it's something I personally been expecting to be solved, and they are doing a great job on it.
Side chains equal scalability.
Yep. It's not all about Hydra, right? It's about interoperability and sidechains of different colors.
I want to try that out. Online.
I know someone is it's from the Cardano community, so also very enthusiastic about Fleury and Logosphere, and put together a .NET library. Our partner Kyle has built a .NET library, client library for Fleury, and it's now he has from .NET the power of interacting with Cardano and feeding projects with metadata from Fleury. So it's gonna be really interesting. Keep an eye on him. Cardano sharp pool.
Heck yeah. And then a huge shout out to everybody. For anybody who didn't have a chance to see Catalyst Town Hall yesterday, it's worth looking up the recording just to get a feel for the vibe of seeing, I don't know how many, probably 10 or 12 different challenge team presentations. There's always new ground being broken at Project Catalyst. And I couldn't be more excited about the fact that there's now a miniature leadership team guiding the work for every challenge question. And those challenge questions, more and more, are coming from the community itself. So everybody participating in Project Catalyst has a chance to create the questions, vote on which ones are going to be addressed, and then to run the governance of each of those. And this is a very different place than Catalyst started, and it's very different from where it could have ended up, right? Which would have just been centralized, only in the hands of IOHK, right? And only dictated by that team. And instead, we really have the ability to demonstrate ownership and to grow leaders across the community. Just want to huge admiration for everybody who is leading those teams and who presented at Town Hall yesterday. Thank you all for making that happen. Can't wait to see how we get to innovate in Fund 8 and 9 and 12 and 20 and et cetera, et cetera. Any other shout outs that we're missing here, team?
Well, I will also shout out everyone that is or not part of these teams, but contributed to set the challenges we have on Fund 7, because I'm personally very happy that we have an open source developer ecosystem challenge. I'm also very happy to have a Grow Latin America challenge. I need to thank this guy for that. Yeah, thank you for everybody that contributed to set the great challenges we have in Fund 7. I think they make a lot of sense, and it's great that now they are taken care by these teams. So thank you.
Amen.
And I'll give a shout out to a special guy who's, I don't know if he's gotten a lot of shout outs because he's always doing the shouting. It's James. Thanks for being at Gimbalabs.
Thank you for being that special glue.
Thanks for bringing Gimbalabs to all of us.
Thanks, my friend. Hey, we're just getting started. It's good to be here. Thank you. So what are we doing?
Well,
a couple things, right?
Between the things that we can tell, we've been obviously improving Dandelion. Every week we try to maximize our time. I personally try to maximize my time on the keyboard and working behind the scenes, and I push a couple of fixes that make I hope it makes Stephen Aldrich a bit happier when he deploys and redeploys Dandelion. He's becoming a master on that task, and yeah, I pushed some fixes that makes GraphQL to be a bit smoother on its first boot. Yeah, and keeping Dandelion fresh.
It's really important what you're doing.
And the fact that we don't hear a lot about it means what you're doing is working.
It's legendary. People don't even understand the problem Dandelion is solving, and you're out in front of it. It's truly revolutionary. Thank you so much for seeing the future, brother.
That was a great Twitter Spaces. I guess what was that, Wednesday? That was so good. I mean, you and Adriano, and you know, I've been in a few meetings with Jeremy, and you know, he was moved. You know, like that wasn't bullshit. He was serious. He was really impressed.
Man, I enjoyed that. We need to do more Twitter Spaces, I guess. It's a good format to engage with the community, because it seems that, yeah, there is a great audience there. So we'll try to do some other. Adriano and me have some ideas to run a Cardano wallets dedicated Twitter space. So stay tuned.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm I'm traumatized with my audio input today. So just I know I'm a bit late, but I want to give some shout out, please. First of all, thanks a lot for opening doors, sharing spaces. Thanks for letting me be moving around the Gimbalabs community. Um, Thanks a lot, for to James and Roberto for being the the first ones to open doors. A huge shout out to Steve because of the Grow Latin America challenge. It's a huge thing to have. I know, and he knows that there is a lot of Latin American people very, very grateful for what he have done. And we are going to honor you with nice proposals there for sure. Every single one of us are going to try to participate somehow. Thanks a lot. And yes, and thanks for Jeremy Firster and everyone who assisted to those Twitter spaces. It was amazing, a nice place to be with nice people. And like always, I say, but this is my first time here, a huge, huge shout out to Dandelion, to Roberto, and Manuel, because without Dandelion, there is no game chain wallet. So everybody, please hear us when we say this and support his project. Just that. Sorry.
Oh, that's the best. Thanks, Adriano. Thanks for joining here today.
Thanks.
Our entire team has been working on creating the first Gimbalabs NFT. And in particular, Randall and Piotr have been driving the work of building some robust NFT infrastructure. Thank you guys so much for all of the little problems you're solving. This is project-based learning at its extreme. And we're really excited to roll out this first NFT project from Gimbalabs. The first series will be announced inside of the Gimbalabs Discord server because it's serving as a community event. So look for details on that very soon. We're excited to share them with you. Any teasers or anything that you guys think we ought to share? Piotr, Randall?
Let's not forget OCG.
OCG, he drives all night.
Frequently.
Yeah, much more to announce there, and we will certainly have a dedicated weekly update talking about that project as it rolls out very soon. Very excited about that. And in
The
parallel,
question to think about would be, what's your style?
ooh, that's a good tagline. Okay. What are you going to wear to the bonfire?
Good question too.
Roberto's ready. And then parallel to that work, we've been putting finishing touches on the new Gimbalabs website, been reviewing content. Like I mentioned before, took a trip down memory lane, got to look at what we've been doing and how we put the story together there. Very excited to release that. That'll be out by the end of the month live. So looking forward to that. When it comes to next steps, what else is there to say? And as I've gotten better at talking about what Gimbalabs is, I find myself saying it to people this way. We're building technical infrastructure, community infrastructure, and educational infrastructure. And everything each of those entails. we could probably talk all day about any one of these individually, but so much happens in a given week that there's like a one-to-one correspondence of what happens and how long it would take to tell you about it, because there's so much new action happening all the time. And I'm so grateful that we get to keep building all of these things together, and that will, anybody who wants to share, join us. Just drop by and you can learn more about what we're doing.
Yeah, and I would like to add that we build these three types of infrastructure and the bridges between them, and trying to build bridges for others, right? Yesterday, well, on the Twitter Spaces, we had a great conversations around monetization of the open source projects. We are an open source inspired community. We try to develop open source software, open educational content, to create opportunities for others. It's difficult to do free software, free as in freedom and free as in free beer. We need to find those feedback loops that makes project that makes money to contribute back to these efforts. I think it's gonna be there's gonna be some interesting conversations in the community. I met Gary something. I cannot remember his last name. But no, it started with H.
Gary Heyer.
That is it. So we had a great conversation. I hope we can find models for all these projects that emerge from the community, that hopefully emerge from the open source developer ecosystem, models that allows them to grow sustainably and doesn't depend on VC or whatever other methods of funding or NFT projects, right? Because hopefully you can get funding for long, that it's usually a one-time campaign, and then what? So we need to build those bridges between projects and make those wheels spin together and fit each other. That's a huge challenge, in my humble opinion.
Get those wheels turning together.
Yes, indeed. So to join us in this work, here's our weekly calendar, and there's one typo on here, two typos. Sorry, I should have double checked this again because of the time change, but the days are correct. So every week you can join us on Tuesdays for Gimbalabs Playground. That's actually at 5 p.m. UTC. I have to fix that one. But this is where anybody, no matter how technically proficient you are or what kind of ideas you're thinking about, can come by and have a conversation about what sorts of problems we're solving and what sorts of tools we're going to be able to use to solve them. The Dandelion Gardeners meeting is bi-weekly, and the next one is next Tuesday. And is that time right? 7:30 UTC?
Yeah, I think so.
Just don't read this slide.
This summertime, winter time here in Spain is.
I thought I had covered all the bases yesterday. I was shifting calendars around, and I forgot to refine this slide right here. And then you can join us on Wednesdays and Thursdays for Plutus project-based learning. We have an office hours meeting on Wednesdays and a live coding session on Thursdays. Check with us on Discord or at the URL at the bottom of the screen, gimbalabs.com/calendar, where you will see the accurate times in your time zone for each of those. And as you're seeing here, this is the new time for the weekly update. Anybody who is expecting this on Friday morning and watching the recording tomorrow, sorry we missed you today, and just know that we'll be keeping this time moving forward. It's much better for creating big chunks of maker time to get real work done. So that's part of why we made the change. So
Is that going to be 9 UTC?
and that should say 9 p.m. UTC now, not 8:30. That's right. That's right. So I'll fix this.
And it seems it's a good time to meet with the fam, right? It seems it's a better time for all of us to to be together.
I like these vibes. Yeah, thank you. Well, I have one more team to meet with, starting in a couple minutes. I'm sure we all got building to get back to. Any last words?
Thank you. You are awesome.
Thank you.
Chaos.
You and you and
Thank
you
you.
and you. Thanks, everybody. See you real soon.
See you next week.
See you.